think that as artists, we all tend to be perfectionists. And I think that that striving for perfection is what drives artists to get into their studio day after day, work on a painting week after week. It is hard to know what is perfection. That would mean something different for each one of us artists. And that's what makes painting a challenge, but it also makes analysis and critique of a painting very difficult. Because if one person has one idea of what a painting should do, it's very different from what another person should do. And in my book, I really tried to address issues in broad ways so that someone could say, you know, lights and darks, a variety of color. That can be one way of making a painting very powerful, by really working with that concept. And yet one artist might want a painting to be very subtle, with a subtle color palette, very minimal, and someone else might want something really loud in your face. But both artists are going to have to deal with some common concepts about painting, and that is that as painters, we generally want someone to be attracted to our work. And once they're attracted to our work, we want that image to be strong enough that they will be, drawn to that painting and not be able to leave it. So for me, a perfect painting is a painting that gets someone's attention and holds it there long enough so that they can have a deeper, meaningful visual experience from that work. Maybe even an altered experience, but some kind of experience. It could be an emotional one, it could be an intellectual one, it could be a joyful one. On each painting of mine, I do have a specific type of feeling that I'd like that viewer to have. But again, if it doesn't draw your attention and it doesn't keep it there, you're not really going to get any kind of experience from that viewer. So I would say that even though as painters we all have a different idea of what a perfect painting would be, or we could say what a successful painting would be, I don't look at the success in terms of whether it sells or not. I look at the success in terms of whether the result has a power to it. And one other thing I want to say about that concept of perfect paintings versus perfect and successful paintings is that one time in the middle of my career somewhere, I had an exhibit. I had like 10 paintings along with 2 other painters. So there were 3 of us in a gallery show, and it was all hung, and it was about an hour before the opening, and I went in a little early. And when I walked in, my paintings made me go, ah, like that, because when they're hanging in a gallery, it's very different than when you're seeing it in your own space. And the way it was lit, and it was different than everybody else's paintings. It had that power to draw my attention and give me a lift. And I said, wow, that's what I'm going for. I want the paintings to transform from some flat image that may be decorative or peripheral into something that goes, ah, for a viewer.